Okay, so today I'm going to talk about a certain concept regarding chromatic approach tones. And in case you don't know what chromatic approach tones are, first I'm going to explain that. Then I'm going to talk about a certain concept that I think is super helpful, especially for intermediate improvisers. If you know some scales, but you're just struggling to make your playing sound a little bit more professional, I think this will be really helpful. So, just a quick recap: a chromatic approach note, in terms of a scale, would be when you approach any note from that scale by a half step, either above or below that note. So, for example, a B flat, you could approach it a half step below from A, or a half step below from B natural down to the B flat. So we call the approach note that chromatic note that's a half step away, you play right before, and the target note, we call that note that you're targeting, the note that you're playing, that you're approaching to. So that's a chromatic approach note. You can either do it from below or from above. So, in particular, what I want to talk about is playing those approach notes, those chromatic approach notes that aren't necessarily within the scale, playing those on upbeats and playing your scale tones on downbeats. And what that's going to do is it's going to make your playing sound a little bit more smooth, more consonant. And you don't necessarily want your playing to sound like that all the time, but I think as an exercise, this is a really great way to start controlling the level of consonance or dissonance of your playing and to start building your sound. So first I'm just going to give an example to demonstrate what I mean. This won't necessarily sound that special, but I'm approaching random notes in the B flat major scale. And as you can hear, the metronome is the downbeat, always playing the approach note on an upbeat, and always playing the scale note on a downbeat. Now, this may not sound that interesting right now as I'm doing it for practice, as an exercise, and to demonstrate. But then you'll find once you start mixing that in with your playing, all I'm going to do is I'm going to do that same thing, but I'm going to start mixing in other notes from the B flat major scale. And you'll see how it sounds super smooth and sounds like some really nice kind of bebop, consonant sort of bebop lines that you can really build a cool sound off of. If that's the kind of style you're interested in. So just a few little licks there. I didn't do anything special. All I did was I was playing some random notes from the B flat major scale, and I was doing approach notes, chromatic approach notes, always with the approach note on the upbeat and the note that you're approaching on the downbeat. So it takes a little bit of practice to do it that way, but I think you'll find that it really helps your playing be really smooth as a general framework, as a general structure to build your sound off of.